Hey guys. See, now that's the intro we want for this one.
For me, it was majorly about the jumpiness I come with. And you know,
Jumpiness.
Oh, the jump.
and the Punjabiyat I come with.
वो अपार पहले आगे अपनी एनर्जी कम करता था ना, चिल्ला चिल्ला के, ओ पाजी की हाल है, ओ ब्रेकफास्ट, ओ पाजी ब्ला ब्ला ब्ला। उसके बाद जब खत्म हो जाती सर टेक करते हैं, फिर ठहराव आता है। अर्थिंग मैम कर रहे हैं।
शुरू से मैम करके आगे
How did you get these guys to act? Look at them. They're such a fun lot.
One thing that I personally like is that if I'm pushed, I perform slightly better. So when I was put into this uncomfortable zone, yeah, I do that. You don't know what will come out.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me. Hey guys. See, now that's the intro we want for this one. You know, before I get into the questions, I want to congratulate each one of you on the success. The love you guys are receiving, I think it's phenomenal. You set the series with using Partition as the backdrop, right? It's such a volatile stage, and especially when you're blending historical events like this into a fiction narrative. Did you find that kind of tricky?
Not at all, because I don't think at any point in time we're delving into the direct politics of it. I think the partition here is a backdrop for our characters, and it's just like how partition affects them individually, but also especially for Jai Khanna and for Roy, in the fact that Jai Khanna is at the bottom of the barrel, kind of like working up because of partition, because of what's happened. He has to be in a camp, he has to fight his way up. And then you have Roy at the top, where partition hasn't affected him until it does start to, when there is, new rules and new laws and things that he has to sort of like circumvent, the teething problems of a new country. So that's how, in a sense, it does. And I think we've used it pretty effectively, where it's not really, we're not getting into any of the heart-wrenching stories that you sent it's about, but all the heart-wrenching stuff is happening to the people itself that we care about. Yeah. So it helps them dramatically.
So this question is for all of you sitting. I'm going to start with you, Apar. When a character is set in the 40s and the 50s, and I think this show has put their hands on every piece of information y'all could get from the 40s and the 50s, right? So firstly, we don't live in that era. We live in such a modernized world. So when you have to essay a character like this, what is the kind of prep, one? And is it more challenging than essaying a character which is more you, though a little away from yourself?
For me, it was majorly about the jumpiness I come with. And and the Punjabiyat I come with. It was majorly about that. Yeah. So I had to just cut down on that. Just which is a lot, which is all of it, right? Which is all of it. Which is just
that was a good 50% of it.
So yeah, cutting down on that majorly meant, okay, you're almost there. Then we had a very, very we had an amazing workshop with Vikas, who is also an actor. At the same time, he is a very famous diction coach and acting coach in our fraternity. So Vikas sir ने मेरी पंजाबी को जो हिंदी करनी थी वो workshop में ही कर दी थी. That's what kind of majorly fed me to be in that space, because वहाँ आराम से बोला जाता था, शुद्ध हिंदी में बोला जाता था. I had to really cut down on the Punjabi. That's about it, I think.
वो अपार पहले आगे अपनी एनर्जी कम करता था ना, चिल्ला चिल्ला के, ओ पाजी की हाल है, ओ ब्रेकफास्ट, ओ पराठे, ब्ला ब्ला ब्ला। उसके बाद जब खत्म हो जाती सर टेक करते हैं, फिर ठहराव आता है।
I think I just had to cut down on myself and all my natural instincts, because I think if someone were to tell me I'm a boss lady, I don't think I'd buy that.
क्विंट बोल रही है
हम तो स्टार्ट से मैम कर
I know, शुरू से हम मैम करके आके चढ़ चुते थे इनके.
How did you get these guys to act? Look at them. They're such a fun
Both are
lot.
gundas.
You should see us.
Because they were never actually working together. It's always the individual kind of stuff. One time they all came together with, I think, it's party scenes where they do nothing but just keep quiet. And
there are a lot of silences actually. That helps.
But Adu used to be the guru ma. सब इनके हिसाब से ही होता था. झूठ बोल रही है ये boss lady नहीं.
Yeah, it was more about controlling my natural instincts, and I think the script in itself, and also Vikram sir having prepped and primed me to sort of not go into that particular zone. It was very, it's kind of delicious to do something that's so different from you, and it's also a suspension of belief in every way. Like, because you're put into this world that is mysterious to you, or are kind of unknown to you because it's another time. And also that all these people are unknown to you, so you're making friends with them. And kind of, and that journey I think is quite exciting.
Script is the first thing, and the characters which was written so well. For the actors, I think it was very easy. It was not very easy, but I'm saying it's because of the script and the characters. And it's a new world, of course. And people like us, at least who have been working for a long time, we knew few things about that period also. And especially I'm talking about Srikanth Roy. He's a character which represents a lot of characters basically. And not a very single one track character. And it talks about a history also. So I think for me, always been like my script and my character and my director, finally.
Just transporting yourself to this very different world that you don't belong to. I haven't played a lot of period characters. So this, which is basically 1940s and cinema, and because I'm an actor, it's just more exciting for me. It is more exciting for me, even when I was prepping for it and now when I'm actually seeing the show. You don't get to see characters like Nilofer a lot, who are very unapologetic, entertainment se bhari hui, super confident, a hustler.
And that's evident from your first shot.
It was so much fun that just Nilofer kind of helped me, it helped me grow as a person, as an individual who was fighting khud ki apni insecurities. She kind of helped me, heal myself. So it was so much fun. It's always so exciting to understand a new person. And Nilofer was so much fun. I don't know, I'm fun nahi aa raha, but you know what I mean? Yeah, the matlab usko samajhna was very entertaining and very much fun.
For you also it was fun.
Me also is a lot of fun. Especially all my scenes with Nilofer was so much fun. Like, you read a script and then it just consumes you because the writing is so beautiful. That is exactly what happened. And I was like, somehow I don't know how, I just kept questioning. Initially, it was a lot of fear, a lot of pressure because it's a big show and it's him and all of that. And then you read the script and it just consumes you somehow. And the thing is, reason starts to unfold itself rather than you finding reasons to do something. When that happens, then you surrender because it's also very honest. And when there's honesty, that's when you can really trust that you won't get lost. So you just go at whatever length, depth you can to just find that person. And it's such an incredible, beautiful character.
I think the most difficult part about prepping for Jamshed was that there were no live references. The only reference was movies and what we would get from the team, from Vikram sir, from Vikas ji, from Jogi sir, and Atul sir. So, it took slightly more time to get into this character for me because I was just believing what they were telling me. I was just listening to, I was very quiet in my workshops to a point where I think one day Vikram sir told me also, okay, are you enjoying the process? He asked me because I used to be so focused and I paid so much attention to listening to what they were saying so that I don't miss out anything. My entire focus was there because I knew that once I walk out of that workshop, there is nothing more that, there's nobody else that I can go and talk to who would be from that era. One thing that I personally like is that if I'm pushed, I perform slightly better. So when I was put into this uncomfortable zone, yeah, I do that. You don't know what will come out.
Apart, a lot of parallels are being drawn to your character, to Mr. Ashok Kumar. While you were essaying it, did you somewhere feel it, or were you at any point told that's your reference point?
I wasn't told that that's a reference point in a way. Vikram sir, told us a very nice thing that there were only 4-5 stars at that time. वो उन्हीं के stars के आसपास की उन superstars के आसपास की कहानी है. And as you mentioned Ashok sir's name, a lot of people say that you're looking like Dilip Kumar. So so इसलिए वो बड़ी thin line है कि हम at the end of the day it's all fiction. Yes, उस टाइम पे कुछ गिनती के ही सुपरस्टार्स थे, तो किसी से कोई चीज उठाई है, किसी से कोई चीज उठाई होगी.
This series, we're saying Roy Talkies, and of course there are parallels to Bombay Talkies, which is very evident, right? You come from a line of people who've been in the industry for so long. Is there an anecdote or something that you heard during that time that kind of motivated you, fascinated you about the industry, that stayed with you even today to probably make something like a Jubilee?
No, there's no. I don't think there's any specific incident. I think what with Atul and me and Shomik to an extent is that there's a love that we have for the movies that extends all the way back. I think as you become a filmmaker and then a film student and a film lover, you tend to go backwards and see what's actually in the past. And I think the fascination with the era and because we've all been assistant directors and we've all entered the industry at a very, very young sort of malleable age, what tends to happen is that the stories you hear, and so it's a mixture of stories. You're hearing stories about the legend of how Guru Dutt replaced Dilip Kumar in Pyasa, for example. Dilip Kumar was supposed to do Pyasa. He had recently done Devdas, didn't want to do another film which was going to get him down, and therefore Guru Dutt played the part. These are urban legends that you've heard over the years, and that's what sort of like makes you say. And it's almost like a bit of a sliding doors moment that tends to happen. In what if Dilip Kumar had agreed to do Pyasa? What if he had? How would that film have been afterwards? So those things kind of stay with you. What if Raj Kapoor had not become a director? What if he hadn't made the Avara as his as his magnum opus? And there's so many of those things, and you go back and start to just wonder about that. And I think it's that which has that. There's a love for the movies that sort of comes from there, and a lot of those. Mixing up urban legends with kind of oral stories you've heard about how songs were made and what they would do and little interesting stories, and that is it's that mostly that's our research actually.
Aditi, you're somebody who's now really choosing women characters that have really strong agency, and are those the only kind of characters you're getting, or are you really making a conscious decision that I want to play women with strong narratives and strong agency?
I think it's a combination of both, because you understand along the way that there are certain kinds of stories that you want to tell and certain kinds of narratives that you want to be a part of. And 100% for me, it stems from the narratives of certain directors. Somewhere, and I really stand by this and I feel it so strongly, because I feel, there is a huge distinction that is made between being a strong person and being a gentle person. But I don't believe they're mutually exclusive. I think you can have a lot of strength and be very graceful and very gentle and speak very, very gently, but you can have very steady, rock-solid dreams, and you can achieve those dreams with gentleness. And I say this from my own experience. Sorry, I don't mean to talk about myself here. I'm also talking about the characters that I have played, however gentle they've been. I feel they've been very fearless characters, because it takes guts to be vulnerable, to look into people's eyes and show your vulnerability and speak your truth. I would believe that even my gentlest of characters have been portrayed beautifully by the directors that I have worked with. Sure. And including Sumitra Kumari, who, she's actually very strong in her love. She's so loyal, she's so steady, she's so strong. And in the second half, you'll see there's a lot of drama that happens and the drama that unfolds.
I'd like to add, sorry. I remember we had a screening just before the release, and the episode got over, and then I met Aditi, and I had this moment, and I was like, after so many years and after so many films, to still stick with your vulnerability and share it like that, I think that's amazing. That speaks so much about a person. And I think vulnerability is an actor's asset, so if you can retain that and lead with that, and that really speaks.
And thank you so much for talking to me. Good luck for the rest of the episodes. I'm sure it's just going to be as amazing. Thank you again, guys.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I won't keep talking. Thank you.